happening, guys? Gemma here and back again for a jolly good top 10 video. And today I want to take a look at this beautiful franchise right here that gave me some absolute glory in the 8 and 16-bit days, Nintendo. I want to look at the top 10 selling Nintendo consoles of all time. That includes handhelds, and I was surprised by number 1 and number 2 actually. But I want to know what you think, and I want you to tell me now in the comments, is it going to be an 80s console at number 1, or is it going to be a 90s console at number 1? Let's take a look. Is a console that was released in 2012. It's probably no surprise that the Wii U has sold just under 12 million consoles. Now, at first this was released and people complained because there wasn't that many games released, or at least they were, but they weren't necessarily games that beefed out those console sales in the early years. Of late, the Wii U seems to have come into its own a little bit with releases like Splatoon, which when released, I think last summer, rocketed the console sales quite significantly, and that's definitely helped to solidify its position at number 10. At number 9 is this console right here. This is obviously not the console, this is my stress ball GameCube, but nonetheless this bad boy shifted 21.74 million units. That figure is a worldwide total, and Super Smash Bros. Melee sold just over 7 million copies and certainly helped to elevate the console to shifting just under 22 million. What I've always liked about the GameCube are the nice variations you have. You've got the purple, you've got the silver, you've got the black. There's plenty of things to choose from, and I've also loved the Japanese console, the orange console there, which I probably aim to get this year. But nonetheless, guys, it is at number 9. Let me know what GameCubes you've got in the comments below. And number 8, in 1996 something marvellous happened. We were taking a step away from the 16-bit era and we were coming into the 32-bit era and the 64-bit era. You've probably guessed it right there, guys. It is the Nintendo 64, selling just under 33 million units. There's no doubt in my mind that titles like Mario 64 and Conker's Bad Fur Day, and not forgetting Ocarina of Time, really gave us fans something to chew on back in the mid to late 90s. I really enjoyed the console back then. Unfortunately didn't get a chance to play Conkers. Nonetheless, did enjoy plenty of Mario 64. What games were you playing back then, and what games do you enjoy now, guys? The N64 is at number 8. This is a real shocker for me. This is a real shocker. At number 7 is the Super Nintendo and Super FAMICOM combined. Again, these are worldwide sales, selling just over 49 million units worldwide. I thought the SNES would have been a lot further down in these rankings, but the figures don't lie. The most phenomenal 16-bit console out there is my favourite console. I know it's some of your guys' favourite console, and again, looking at titles like Super Mario All-Stars and Super Mario World, leading games for that console, definitely helped to skyrocket the Super Nintendo to fame in the early 90s. It still lasts, it's still as fresh today as it was back in the day in the early 90s, and I would say it's one of the most expensive consoles to collect for. It's at number 7, guys, 49 million units sold. Number 6. The Nintendo 3DS, revolutionary by technology standards, but certainly a flop by technology standards as well. I don't use a 3D, I play everything in 3D, and the 3DS has sold just over 55 million units. Now, I actually can't believe that's more than the Super Nintendo, but when you consider it, it is a reasonably versatile console, and I do think there's a massive difference between home consoles and handheld consoles. Obviously with handheld consoles there's much more portability, and the younger generations can take them out, and you see kids in schools with them these days, so it doesn't surprise me when you look into it that little bit more. Guys, for 3DS there's plenty of versions to buy, so again, People are constantly looking to collect all the different kinds of 3DSs, and I think that's one of the reasons why it sold so well. It definitely helped to revive Nintendo alongside the Wii, which we'll come to. And at number 6, guys, as I've said, 55 million units, the Nintendo 3DS. Number 5. In the 1980s, families like mine and yours worldwide were playing the Nintendo Entertainment System. Super Mario Bros. Being released in 1985, if I remember correctly, has been one of those staple titles on the Nintendo Entertainment System, and it's, what can I say? I don't really think there's anything to say about the NES that hasn't already been said. It's a phenomenal console. Again, like the SNES, I think there's something about the NES that seems fresh today when I play it. I never get bored of it. I don't know what you guys think. In fact, tell me what you think. Are you surprised that the NES is at number 5, or did you think it'd be further down the rankings? And how much do you enjoy it today? Did you buy it in the 80s? Were you one of those 55 million back then, or have you bought a second-hand one down the line? Guys, at number 5, pipping the SNES, is the Nintendo Entertainment System. At number 4, I don't know why I keep lifting my leg. At number 4 is the Game Boy Advance, selling 81.5 million units. Now again, looking at these handhelds seem to be doing pretty well in the Nintendo top 10 here. Pokemon Ruby and Pokemon Sapphire are the top selling games combined for the Advance, and certainly, you know, there's no argument there that, again, these are staple titles that have helped give the Nintendo Game Boy Advance lots of longevity. I'm not a massive fan of the Advance. I don't like the fact that it isn't backlit. I much prefer the SP that came out after, because it's smaller, it's compact, plus you've got that nice backlit feature. But what do you guys think? Did you enjoy Pokemon? Did you play it on your Advance? Did you play it on the SP? Let me know, but guys, there's no argument in saying that Game Boy Advance is number 4 at 81.5 million consoles sold. At number 3, 10 years after the release of the N64, came this console right here, the Nintendo Wii. To date, it has sold over 101 million units worldwide. Wow, and another interesting fact about the Wii, Nintendo Wii Sports is the second largest selling game of all time. I did a video about that. It will be located in the cards right here and in the description. So, you know, when you bundle in awesome games in like that, you know, there's no doubt that a console is going to do well. And I think what the Wii did well is brought the notion of family gaming back together. People of all generations were starting to play games up to 4-player, and I think Nintendo have always had this fantastic relationship, not just with single gamers but with a family unit as well. Well, we'll look at the name Famicom, family computer, and the Wii for me really is almost like a modern Famicom, if you would, because it brought family together and people just wanted to continue to play it, of all ages and of all generations. Number 3, 101 million units, the figures speak for themselves. And number 2, guys, is the Game Boy. The Game Boy bundled in with the Game Boy Color, together forming the Game Boy series. 154 million units shifted worldwide. And again, the Game Boy is popular with Tetris, you've got your Pokemons. People as young as 4 and 5 were playing Game Boys back in the day. And it's still, again, as with all Nintendo consoles, things seem to be fresh. Really fresh. I still play my Game Boy today, and it feels like it did way back in the 90s when we used to play Tetris as a family. There's no argument, guys, the Game Boy is phenomenal, and it's at number 2 for the best selling console of all time. Brings us down to number 1. What is the best selling console of all time? It is a console that was released in the 2000s. I asked at the beginning, was it 80s or 90s? It's actually a console that was released in 2004, the Nintendo DS, pipping the Game Boy series slightly at 154.1 million consoles sold. Now, I get a little bit lost with the Nintendo DS series, the DSi, the DS Lites, the DS this, the DS that, but surprisingly, a lot of handhelds have held up well in this top 10, and I want to know what you guys think about that. Why Nintendo, handhelds over the home consoles? What do you think? Please drop me a comment. But that is the number one, guys. 154.1 million handhelds sold of the DS. So there we go, guys, that's my Jolly Goods top 10. Please like, comment and subscribe. There are more top 5s and 10s in the playlist. If you click the cards here, you'll see some videos, and all playlists are located below. Please tweet at me, come over to my Facebook group. Outtakes will be on Patreon, as well as kind of thumbnail creations if that's your thing. My name's Gemma. I really appreciate your support. You've been awesome. Guys,